Hey Walrus Squad, today we're going over some tips and tricks to make you a better player with Octane in Apex Season 7 starting right now. Press that red subscribe button for weekly Apex tips and tricks videos, but I want you guys to think about as we get started Octane's primary purpose in Apex Legends. And by the way, here's his abilities if you need to read through those updated for Season 7. Pause the video if you need to. But think of Octane as the first in, first out character in Apex, and what I mean by that is with his speed boost, he should always be ahead of his team just a bit, scouting ahead. You can be the first one into a fight because of how fast Octane is, while also knowing that you can get back to your team quickly if things start to go sideways and you have to retreat. I don't think of him as quite as dangerous as everybody else to go off alone, because you can quickly retreat and get back to your team quickly. So remember, he's the first one into a fight, scouting ahead, and perhaps getting the jump on an enemy team, surprisingly, if he's able to boost up there and speed in quickly while you wait for your team to catch up with you. And because he's so fast, you could actually get back to your team and retreat out of a fight if you have to. And also get in the habit of not worrying so much about the incoming circle. I often play with randoms when I play the game. 95% of the time it's with randoms. And you'll often see them running away from the circle like far before they actually need to. With Octane, it's really not necessary at all because of his stim and his jump pad. The incoming circle really is not a worry for Octane whatsoever, even with the 10 health that's taken for using the stim. So let's talk about Octane's passive ability, his swift mend, and get into some tips about how this can help you when playing as Octane. The game describes it as, while not taking damage, Octane restores health over time. And it actually restores 1 HP every second, which is double what it used to be prior to Season 7. Before that, it was a half an HP every second. A tip that I would recommend, and this isn't huge, but I don't carry syringes when playing as Octane. There's hardly a need for them, especially because of this recent buff he got with his passive. Syringes really aren't going to do you a whole lot of good because he can heal himself so quickly on his own. Another thing to remember too is that your health restores back to where it was before you use the stim about 7 seconds after this boost itself ends, which you could actually see that when you watch me on the video here using the stim. As soon as the stim ends, if you count about 7 seconds, my health is back to where it was. So that has heavy implications for using the stim, so let's talk about that right now. Using Octane's tactical. The game describes it as increase walk speed by 30% and sprint speed by 40% for 6 seconds. It costs health to use. Reduction to slows while active, so it will give you just a little bit of a boost, say when you're caught in Caustic's gas trap or something like that. You can use the stim to help escape out of there just a little faster than you normally would be able to. The tip to remember with Octane's tactical for Season 7 is that use it as often as you can. Octane is a high risk and high reward character. You should be the first one to push into a fight, and like I had mentioned, you can retreat quickly if you get into trouble. Also, use your stim more while in a close quarters gunfight for an extra boost to strafing and sliding. You actually make yourself much more difficult to hit while using your stim, especially even strafing side to side. It does give you a little boost there as well. And I want you to think about this too, that the 10 HP that you lose when using your stim rarely makes any bit of difference in most fights that you'll get into. Don't worry about losing that 10 HP from the stim, unless of course you spam it over and over. But if you're just getting into a fight, drop it, man. You got 6 seconds of speed boost, and you can use that speed to your advantage. Use your high caliber aiming skills to win a fight with your extra speed at the same time. Which, by the way, if you need some help with your aim, click the tab at the top of your screen right now to help improve your aim quickly in Apex. Another tip is use stim to grab your teammates' banners in hot zones. So if you have a teammate who just went lone wolf and died off in the distance and you need to get his banner, use your stim to get there quickly, but of course wait for the opportune time. If the enemy is distracted fighting someone else, you can stim in there quickly to grab the banner and escape without getting damaged or dying yourself. But do remember that the noise you make while using the stim could give away your position, so just be cautious. Let's talk about Octane's ultimate ability, his launch pad. The game describes it as a deployable jump pad that catapults users through the air. Users can press space in mid-air to double jump, or A if you're on controller. The tip to remember about Octane's ultimate ability is that I want you to use it often in tandem with the stim. All three of Octane's abilities really synchronize well together, and adding in the jump pad is just icing on the cake with how fast Octane already is. So use it often in tandem with the stim. Drop the stim and then throw the pad at the same time to get an extra boost and let you fly through the air just a little bit farther than you would without the stim. And remember that the 60-second cooldown means you should be using the jump pad as many times as you can during a match. match. I believe it recently was lowered down from 90 seconds down to 60 seconds. So man, it seems like the launch pad is there for you all the time, so make sure that you use it. And remember that your jump pad isn't just for you. You can also think of it as a way for your teammates to retreat or jump into a fight more quickly, which is really just going to benefit your team as a whole. So don't think of it only for yourself. Remember how it could help your teammates as well, especially when you're trying to decide where to place it. Remember to use your ult to gain high ground on the enemy. Even in the smaller areas of the map, a jump pad can often save you an extra second or two over manually climbing up a wall to get some high ground. So constantly remind yourself about high ground advantages when placing your jump pad during gunfights. And of course, at the same time, it can help your teammates as well. So try and think of that. If they're in a tough spot, you could actually use your jump pad to help them escape and get out of trouble, or allow them to get to their own high ground. It really is quite versatile when you try and think of all the ways you can use it to help not only you, but your teammates as well. Use your ultimate to help you and your team escape a fight, but be careful. Your trajectory is often very predictable, and most players nowadays will be able to hit you out of the sky easily, unless they're total pepegas and just can't aim or something. I don't know. Most people are going to hit you though. Look for ways you can bounce away without giving the bad guys an easy target. So when you fly away, try and make sure you're going around a corner, in between trees, other buildings, or other obstacles in the way between you and the enemy if possible, just because it's so easy to hit you while you're in the air. Remember that you can place a jump pad in front of a door to trap an enemy or slow them from entering the room you're in. Sometimes you'll notice that the bad guys will just run through not seeing the pad and then get launched into the ceiling in the room, or they'll have to take the extra moment to destroy the jump pad before entering. And actually, if you keep doing this tactic, you'd be surprised how many players give up quickly when they see the jump pad in front of the door. It's almost like they don't know how to react. Most people's first reaction isn't just to aim down and shoot it. It actually takes them a second to figure out what they want to do about it. So use this more often than you probably are right now, especially if you don't want an enemy coming through a certain direction. Bonus tips, and the first one is that remember you can throw the jump pad down in front of a trident to launch it up in the air and throw it off in a crazy direction, which usually isn't super useful in terms of like strategy for distracting an enemy, but still cool nonetheless. Also remember to double jump late for more distance. So don't hit your double jump until you're about to hit the ground, then press that A button or the space bar on the keyboard to make sure you get that little further distance, especially if you're trying to travel somewhere quickly. Don't forget to subscribe for Apex tips every single week and hang out with me live on Twitch. The link is in the description. Click the Twitch link and drop a follow over there. I'll see you live. Let's go chat. Let's talk about stuff like Apex and video games and, life in general. Thanks for watching, guys. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.